It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
What's happening in Lake of the Ozarks as we get ready for Christmas? I'm going to say not so fast first. Another weekly edition of Cup of Coffee from Slumberland at the Lake. Wild Will.
Uncle Chris.
And this week, Ozark Law. Are you ready for it?
I'm actually going to start watching it, I think.
Okay, very good. Season 2, we got the official trailer we'll show you on this week's show. Plus, hey, a little bit of a back and forth. Citizens a little concerned over the city of Osage Beach. They're going to remove a ball field at Peanick, and the citizens, they seem like furious about it.
Some of them are, yeah. Some of them love it. Some of them hate it. You know, it's typical.
Hey, of course, then the casino, a huge topic. We're going to talk about the private casino.
Yeah.
They've lost in 2024, trying to amend the Missouri Constitution, but why this group says they feel a lot differently. Their second round, we've got that, plus some Christmas prep and getting you ready for that, plus high school basketball, that and a whole lot more after this on this week's Cup of Coffee.
Hey everybody, it's Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture at the Lake. We're starting our last chance sale that's going to go through the end of the year. And what's that mean for you? Great deals in every room of the house and 0% interest financing for 36 months. Here at Slumberland Furniture, we hope everybody has a very Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year. We appreciate all of our guests that have become friends and family with us. Thanks for a great year from Slumberland Furniture, where we bring happy home.
The lake has it all, even this time of year. Some incredible events.
The scenic outdoors, there's so much to see.
But listen, there have been an average of 6 fatal crashes in Missouri per month from distracted driving this year.
That's where you come in. Always remember to buckle up and put your phones down. Your eyes belong on the road. This reminder to drive safe, boat safe, brought to you by Price & Randall Injury Attorneys.
Yeah, always remember, drive safe, boat safe, and listen, this time of the year, we told you at Thanksgiving, people are traveling. Most of us are traveling, or there's people traveling to you, so put those phones down, put your seatbelt on, and pay attention, and most importantly, drive sober, right? Always drive sober. Designate a sober driver, and in the summertime, goes without saying to designate a sober captain. All right, so...
Are you traveling over the holidays?
Yeah, a little bit, not a whole lot. We're going to be actually hosting Christmas, and we'll be doing some light traveling, but not anything too far. But before we even get into Christmas, we got big news this week. You saw it Monday, but Ozark Law Season 2, it's coming. You see that?
I did see that, and I've never watched an episode. I need to start.
Yeah, you've got time, but for those of you who are anxiously awaiting Season 2 of A&E's hit show, Ozark Law, well, you won't have to wait much longer. That's right, we got our first trailer for Season 2. Check it out.
You never know what you're in for on the Lake of the Ozarks.
Go, go, go. You got a scholarship for basketball?
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Everybody, hands out! You guys are cool. Covered in blood.
We got a fight.
Hey, get over here!
Is that a raccoon?
Fighting 1 minute, fishing for raccoons the next.
Ozark Law, new season Wednesday, January 7th at 9. Part of Crime and Investigation on A&E. Watch next day on the...
So there you have it. Wednesday, January 7th on A&E. What's new for Season 2 is not only does it include Ozark and Osage Beach PD, but they've added Sunrise Beach PD. And shout out to Scott Craig, who shared the news with me Monday saying, hey, we posted the official trailer on our Facebook page, so I was able to find that out and saw that. Of course, people went nuts, and so this is your chance. Now to January 7th, you're gonna have some downtime, listen, so you guys need to go ahead and start watching Season 1 so you get ready for Season 2.
Yeah, I wonder, it was in the last few months that Sunrise Beach police officer was arrested for having drugs in his car. I wonder if that's a part of the show.
Oh, that's a great point. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
Worth maybe asking them. They probably won't tell you a whole lot, of course, with it getting ready to debut, but January 7th, so those of you who loved Season 1 like this guy, in our house, we loved it. We're going to be waiting for January 7th, that Wednesday night, and make sure you get set up. I don't even know there's tons of different options on streaming platforms, right? You got to jump over the moon, you got to plug your nose, hold your breath, and only pay them $69.49 47 every 2
or
weeks.
something.
Yeah, it's wild, but I'm pumped. You got time, so are you saying you're watching season one?
Yeah, and I can go in and record it. So I mean, that's the way Mrs. Uncle C and I like to watch TV. We record it and then watch it back later. That way we can fast forward through the commercial.
I didn't know people still recorded.
Oh yeah, everything that we watch other than sports is recorded.
I'm gonna learn a thing or two eventually.
Yeah, there you
if
go.
I haven't already. So hey, if you didn't see City of Osage Beach, big plans at Peanick Park, right? A splash pad, a new playground, which the city voted on. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
However, when they reintroduced the plan, they posted on Facebook that they've seen decades of play at this ball field that they say goodbye to. So many memories were made here, and we're grateful for every practice inning, drop ball, and home run. And we're also excited for what's ahead. However, when they shared that, people were outraged, and it seems some local coaches were caught off guard, and this is now a pretty contentious issue.
Yeah, it's turned into that. So the whole thing that is causing a problem is they have to get rid of one of the baseball fields to put in the new stuff, right? And the city, when they were planning all of this, they were getting everybody's vote on which way to go and what to put in, and everybody was excited about it. But then the Mayor Harmison, says, we might have made a mistake in how we handled communications. We didn't tell people that we were actually going to be taking one of these ball fields away to put in the new stuff. And so there has been a little bit of feedback from some of the coaches, local coaches, that say, hey, it's hard enough to get a field during the spring when you got baseball and softball going on, and you're going to take a field away. And one of the coaches says, I think it's an awful decision. And it's going to hurt a whole lot. Would love to see a bigger, better park for my kids somewhere. And so maybe that will come later. But in the meantime, the city is going to continue on with the plan. They will take that one ball field that's right by 42 there. They're going to take that out to put this new stuff in. They've got 3 phases for all of this. Phase 1, the new playground, approved, and equipment is arriving now for that. I mean, all this is taking place. Installation begins soon. Park staff prepping the site right now. Then phase 2 will be a new pavilion, right? And that has been approved and scheduled to start in January. That will provide shaded gathering and event spaces. And then the phase 3, the splash pad and parking extension for 2027. The third phase, medium-sized splash pad planned, additional parking pending board approval. So they're working on all of that already. We'll have to figure out how to do without a baseball field.
Yeah, and I'm wondering how much that will actually impact recreational leagues, city leagues, and activity. I reached out to the city of Osage Beach and talked with Holly Jarvis, and she said, yes, this was all included in Osage Beach Park's master plan, which was voted and approved in 2023, and it was developed using community input. Now, the removing of Peanick Field 1 was a decision they came to, she says, because there was a 200-foot fence which sees limited seasonal use. It's only fit for T-ball, coach's pitch, etc. And field number 2 at Peanick Park, which is right down the way, it's a larger field, will remain and is regulation size. She also says they really want to stress that all T-ball coaches pitch games will continue on Field 2 in 2026, and Youth Baseball League will continue as normal with no reduction in programming, games, team size, league size, etc. So it seems like they have a plan and it won't impact the play. But yeah, they want that big splash pad, that pavilion, and that parking extension. And for that to happen, there's only so much room. And it's also worth noting that that third phase, Chris, that you talked about, the splash pad and the parking expansion, isn't slated for until 2027, and that is still pending board approval and funding. And so that could be something that never comes to fruition.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we say goodbye to that small field. And I want to note, growing up in Eldon, Missouri, I played for Lee Graves in the Eldon Youth City League, right? And that was one of my favorite fields because I never did hit an out of the park home run, still to this day,
Right.
try as I might. But I hit the bottom of the fence for a triple 2-run triple, and I was 11 or 12 playing in 5th grade for Lee Graves. I'll never forget that moment, and it was at that small ball field right there with those super short fences. So, you know, I'd like to have another crack at it before it officially gone, but it appears like it is. But appreciate the city of Osage Beach continuing to communicate, and you can also understand, you know, the pushback from people that are involved in rec leagues and feel like, hey, we're already like short fields.
Yeah.
But based on what the city of Osage Beach says, that doesn't seem to be a serious concern.
When you did that home run derby with KB a couple years ago, did you hit one out?
Yeah, I hit 2 or 3 out. The problem was I hit like 4 more that were foul and counted as outs.
Yeah.
You know, well, yeah, they had me hitting from
You were hitting pretty good.
They had me hitting from like halfway between second base and the Little League fence. So I basically could have tossed it over the fence. We need to redo that. We need to go out to Ballparks National and do that again. So, hey, big topic lately. Everybody's asking anywhere I go about the casinos. You see it all over Facebook. You see it in the newspaper. You hear it on the radio.
Yeah.
And so recently, Lake Expo dropped an article titled Missouri Rejected an Ozark Casino. Investors have a new strategy and a bigger war chest. And so I thought, what exactly does that mean? Because we've been wondering, like, hey, we told you a little bit about Andy Pruitt and the Lake Ozarks Community Gaming and why they felt like they might have a better chance this time around, but I'm still wondering, after spending that kind of money and not getting approved, how they were going to get this accomplished. And so Lake Expo came out with this article, and it comes down to advertising, apparently they're saying.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. So the investment group trying to, again, bring this back up. They're going to have to change the Missouri state constitution to allow for another casino to be on Missouri rivers. So they would add another casino to the Osage River, which would be like in the Lake Ozark area right there, right? So they're working on this. So this proposition to change the Missouri Constitution was on the ballot. 2024, it failed 52.5% to 47.5%. And as you mentioned, Andy Pruitt, nephew of investor and local developer Gary Pruitt, explained to the board why his group thinks they can have success this time around when they lost last time around, and he gave 4 reasons. Right? He said, number 1, as high as 20% of Missouri voters associated them, Osage River Gaming, with the Osage Nation Gaming Casino, and he thought there was some confusion there. That was issue number 1. Number 2, in 2024, the group's $5.2 million budget limited their campaign to what he called annoying mailers that nobody reads and limited broadcast TV coverage that only reached a small portion of the state. So that was the second reason. Third reason, he said, due to a signature miscount and related court case in 2024, the ad campaign didn't start until September, which was too late, for, according to them, for their campaign. And then number 4, he said they do not expect other casino groups to advertise against them this time. Last time they did, they said one of the casino groups spent like $10 million against them in 2024 because they were working with a competitor casino, and this time they're not. Yeah. So they're not expecting the casinos to be fighting against them this time. So,
yeah, last time around, they had announced they'd partner with Bally's, was a 50% partner in that investment group, which alienated other Missouri gaming companies like Caesars and Penn National. And so they believe that, actually Pruitt said to the Lake Ozark Board of Aldermen that MEC reporting shows Caesars spent $10 million in 2024 against them by not partnering with Bally's or one of the other gaming agencies or groups. You don't alienate anybody. No one's going to be working against you. I want to go back to point number 1 where they said that only 20% of voters, they thought that they were Osage Nation instead of Osage River Gaming. And so they did that with $5 million the first time. They've got $20 million this time around, even without Bally's chipping in $5 million to total 10 as they had last time. And so the second, that the budget they had said that most people never saw their vote yes on amendment 5 ads. I know we saw them. So what they're saying is, hey, a lot of people through mailers and broadcast TV, they didn't see those ads. And if they did see those ads, they feel like they're being impactful enough to sway Missouri voters. And I want to allude to, you talked about the signature miscount. Well, that delayed it a long time. There was a lawsuit filed about there wasn't enough signatures and they had to fight litigation. And so that ate up a lot of time from collecting signatures. And as you said, they started a month earlier collecting signatures. And so if they don't have a big lawsuit or they don't have a big issue in the courts, that's going to put them way ahead along with more money. So regardless of if you're for, they're coming out and telling you why they feel like they're going to be successful. So you look forward to first seeing people collecting signatures if you haven't already. And then as we get closer to the general and the primary elections coming up in 2026, you're going to start seeing those vote yes on Amendment 5 or whatever. I'm not sure it would be Amendment 5 this time around, but you're going to start seeing those ads in bunches.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And if they've jumped from a $5 million campaign to $20 million, what a jump, 4 times. And they won't be fighting against another casino spending $10 million against them. I was surprised they lost the last time. I didn't realize that there was all this stuff happening, behind the scenes. Man, I really don't know how they can lose this time around.
I was not surprised that the voters associated Osage River Gaming with Osage Nation Casino. We said that when we saw their investment group, the private. They called themselves Osage River Gaming, and you had Osage Nation Casino. Like, there's no wonder people think they're the same thing.
Yeah.
And so they changed their name, Lake Ozark Community Gaming. They got all those things working for them. And so if you're wondering, the election, the primary is August 2026, and the general will be in November 2026. And so if they get their signatures and all the hoops cleared and T's crossed, I's dotted, you'll see that on the ballot November 2026.
It's coming, yeah. And they obviously feel pretty good about it. They learned a lot the first time around. And, whether you want casinos in the area or not, and there's a lot of arguments pro and con, but they're coming. I mean, I think in the next 5 to 10 years, both the Osage Nation and the private casino, they'll both be here.
All right, so as we move forward, I want to ask, what in the world is going on with the Camden County Auditor?
Good question. I didn't even know the name of the auditor until this came up. So Commissioner Dugan has contacted the state of Missouri, was informed it would cost between $200,000 and $250,000 to have the state auditor come in and audit Camden County, right? And the audit would take 6 to 13 months to complete. It would be scheduled mid-2026. So Commissioner Gohagan noted that the money has already been approved in the budget for this audit, which I had never heard before, and that the county has not had a Missouri state audit in 10 years. Presiding Commissioner Skelton said there were other alternatives to this. He didn't necessarily think they should have a state auditor come in. The commissioners asked elected officials who were present what they thought about having a state audit. The officials responded that they were fine with the idea, including the sheriff. Commissioner Gohagan said that the 2016 state audit was very detailed. He thought it would be good to have a clean bill of health from the state of Missouri. And the reason why all of this is coming up is because our local auditor has apparently come into question in recent times. The citizens,
Jimmy Laughlin.
There you go. Citizens for a Better Camden County posted something, and boy, they really came out against Auditor Jimmy Laughlin.
This was Stacy Shore's post.
This was Stacy, right. She said, yesterday the county had a budget meeting where County Auditor Jimmy Laughlin made his recommendation for the 2026 budget to the commission. The only cuts to the county departments recommended by Laughlin were to the sheriff's department and to the road and bridge budget. No other cuts were recommended to any other departments. The total of the cuts he was talking about was $10 million plus to both those departments. He recommended a $7 million cut, cutting the budget in half to the sheriff's department, stripping that was for road and bridge, and $3 million from the sheriff's department, cutting 3 deputies. And she said many questions that were valid based on inconsistencies in Laughlin's presentation could not be answered by him. She said, one of the questions I had for him, if the county was so broke, why did he lead a meeting that was not publicly noticed in the Justice Center, where you can't bring your phones and there's no ability to record such a meeting, where the elected officials of Camden County voted to give themselves a raise? Why did Laughlin not shut that down? Why did he vote to give himself a raise? a lot of good questions here that Stacy Shore has brought up.
And I want to note, since we talked about that private meeting where they voted to give themselves a raise, it's worth noting that Commissioner Gohagan voted no, Presiding Commissioner Ike Skelton voted no, Commissioner Dugan voted yes on that issue. And so with these questions, Stacy went on to say, yesterday's meeting was very troubling. Our county auditor proved to be recklessly incompetent. We should all be deeply concerned. And Skelton and Gohagan tabled the budget presentation, saying there were too many holes and inconsistencies and questions that couldn't be answered. And so then on December 11th, Commissioner Gohagan took to Facebook, witnessed the bureaucracy, looking back to look forward. And he brought up, titling it, A Mutant Possum in Our Midst, saying in 2007, the county voted on a half-cent sales tax raise passed for road and bridge in the sheriff's department. That half-cent raise was designated and earmarked to go 50% to the sheriff's department, 50% to road and bridge. Since 2008, that additional tax has collected roughly $90 million for Camden County. You would think that'd be $45 million for road and bridge, $45 million for the sheriff's department over the course of those 17 to 18 years. Well, come to find out that only 5% of that total tax, instead of 50, has gone to road and bridge, and only 20% of that initial tax has gone to the sheriff's department. And so not only have they gotten slided over the last 18 years when it comes to the tax that you, the people of Camden County, voted and approved that you were willing to pay that additional money to go to road and bridge and the sheriff, but it hasn't necessarily been going there. And to make matters worse, in the proposed budget from Camden County Auditor Jimmy Laughlin, he's proposing we take $3 million annually out of road and bridge and $7 million out of road and bridge and $3 million out of the sheriff's. Gohagan went on to say, you notice that the sheriff and commission are always at odds? Do you notice that the roads are always terrible? So that's a bold thing for a voted commissioner to post publicly on Facebook. It was shared the same day by Presiding Commissioner Ike Skelton with the caption, accurate. Monday of this week, December 15th, State Representative Jeff Vermetti sent a letter to the State Auditor's Office, Scott Fitzpatrick, requesting a state audit in the Camden County Auditor's Office. So that's kind of wild.
Yeah.
This is all happening really, really quick. Now, I did reach out to Sheriff Edgar to find out what he thought. I also reached out to County Auditor Jimmy Laughlin asking for answers, because it looks like our county currently is only down 1.3% in 2025 from reports I'm getting from county officials. And so $10 million from the budget with only 2 departments. And it doesn't look like this is the first time that Camden County Auditor's Office has slighted road and bridge and the Camden County Sheriff's Department. Worth looking into, and at this point in time, it looks like somebody is going to have to answer for this.
Sure does. And it's good to bring these questions up. And maybe there's a good answer for all of these things. And Mr. Laughlin will be able to step up and say, okay, here's why everything is the way it is. But let's bring all of that out in the open. Let's find out. It's good to ask questions and figure out why. But if those numbers are right, you know, that they've been raising $90 million in taxes, all of that was supposed to go 50-50 to road and bridge and the sheriff's, and like 5% has? Something's wrong with that.
5 to road and bridge, 20 to the sheriff's department, with more proposed budget cuts coming. Presiding Commissioner Skelton and Commissioner Gohagan tabled the proposed 2026 budget, and that will continue to be a contentious topic. I want to give a shout out to Dave Moppin with Among the Dogwoods. He does an amazing job kind of breaking that down. Always follow his blog, and then Lake Expo. They'll have stories coming on this. I'm sure. So, all right, hey, cool event coming up. It's the Stop Human Trafficking Bowling Tournament, their annual bowling tournament, Bowling for a Cause to Build a Shelter this year. You like to bowl?
No, I used to, but I'm getting too old now. You know, I mean, it just hurts my back now.
Yeah, at the Chances Are Christmas party last Tuesday, I played 1 game and that was it.
I heard you were great though.
Yeah, I would have hurt myself very bad if I did any more than that. But listen, mark your calendars for January 25th. and 26 at Bullmore Lanes off 42 in Osage Beach from 2 to 5. They'll have 50-50 raffle. It's got a cool 70s theme. They're looking for sponsors. They're looking for teams. It's only $150 to build a team of 5 people. They've got trophies. It's a really cool event, and it's Bowling to Stop Human Trafficking, put on by the Lake of the Ozarks Stop Human Trafficking Coalition. And the cool thing is it's a 9-pin no-tap tournament, so like I would have a shot to throw a strike here or there.
You have a shot to throw a strike every time. You throw it like 90 miles an hour down there, man.
You're out of control. All right, so mark your calendars. That'll be a cool event. Another headline we've been following, people are wondering, the Oasis at Amusement Park. But did you notice over the weekend and early this week that there are crews on site at the Oasis Amusement Park?
Pretty exciting, right?
They said it would never happen.
Yeah, everything, so much has been happening the last few months underground that people aren't seeing, things being put together off-site. Well, now they're coming on site and things are getting done there. It's fun to see.
Yeah, and I mean, we had developer Jeff Tegethoff on a couple of weeks ago, and he kind of promised these deadlines, and so we are absolutely going to be holding them to him. And he promised just this, and it's an encouraging sign for those of us tracking that September 2026 opening date for the amusement park given by Tegethoff recently here and with Lake Expo. So we'll continue to keep you posted. How about a shout out to Daniel Carnahan, Skyview Photography?
Love
like
that
4
guy.
degrees.
Yeah.
Nothing stops him.
Love that guy.
From
He's great.
getting that drone up in the air, best in the business. All right, so the Chiefs had a real rough Sunday for more ways than one, right?
Yeah, and Mahomes goes down with a knee injury, has already had the surgery, which is good. And I read up on it a little bit. The good news was he tore the ACL, but not the MCL. There's like 3 major ligaments right there. Only tore 1, I think. So that's going to be good for his recovery. I think this actually might be a blessing in disguise for the Chiefs. They have been to the playoffs for 10, 11 straight years. They have played more than a full season, more than other teams who didn't make the playoffs. That'll wear you out after a while. And this year, they get some time off. They're going to take a break, rest up, hopefully come back strong next year. I don't think the dynasty is over. It might be, but I don't think it is. I hope they'll put it back together and get going again next year.
Yeah, we will see. They lost 16-13 to the Chargers. That's their 3rd loss in a row, and they've lost 5 out of 6 games. And of course, you said knocked out of the playoffs, and this is unfamiliar feeling for Chiefs fans. If you tune into next week to our Christmas edition of A Cup of Coffee, I want to look back in detail at the first 8 years of Patrick Mahomes' career, just to kind of solidify how solid and how strong and how great
It's been a dream for Chiefs fans. And how about those Bills' big win last week?
Big win. Even more important, Nick Reese clinging to a 1-game lead and our best seat in the house overall standings. He's got 154 points. Oma Anderson right there, 153. And hey, you got a shot, you got a prayer. Uncle Chris, 148 games. You're there, bro. Come on.
I'm hanging
Couple of good weeks. Come on, you can do it.
I think I might be too far back.
All right, so before we get out of here this week, our favorite weekly scripture this week comes from Isaiah chapter 9. God communicating through the prophet Isaiah about a hope and a future. Every warrior's boot used in battle and every garment rolled in blood will be destined for burning, will be fuel for the fire. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the greatness of his government and peace there will be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice and righteousness from that time on and forever. The zeal of the Lord Almighty will accomplish this. Isaiah 9, 5-7.
So good. So good
stuff. What a promise of a hope this time of year, the ultimate fulfillment of the promised child who brings light, divine rule, and everlasting peace. If you're wondering what's happening on Lake TV over the holidays, listen, got a big game Friday night, high school basketball. Chris, been a good start to the season.
Oh, yeah, so much fun. Love local high school basketball. And this Friday night, we've got the Camden boys at home against Salem. That ought to be fun. Then we'll take a break until January, pick back up. We've got a lot of games in January and February.
Yeah, it'll be great. Plus, don't miss Noah Smothers and Eric Tudor, Como history on the Spotlight show this week. Plus, don't wait. You can still enter the Christmas tree giveaway with Sunrise Farm Market until Thursday at midnight. Until next week, special edition here for the Christmas cup of coffee. We'll see you then.